Hello ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities and identities, and welcome back to another Doctor Who review. And today's Doctor Who review is none other than Aliens of London. So what is Aliens of London about? Well, essentially it's about the Doctor finding himself back on the power state and getting absolutely bitch slapped by Jackie Tyler. Yep, that's the story, ladies and gentlemen. No, just joking. But, yeah, so essentially he comes back to the estate, gets slapped around the face because Rose Tyler has been thought to be missing. Little did they realise that she'd been travelling with the Doctor, and they'd been away for a very long time. The Doctor thinks that it was only a year, but it turns out it's been just over a year, and that has driven Jackie mental. She slaps him and he walks out of the flat, especially after the fact that the police officer begins to question whether their relationship is a little bit unorthodox, especially as at the end of the day he is supposed to be an adult figure and she is seen as just a teenager. The pair of them go onto the roof after Rose calls the Doctor gay for getting slapped round the face and thinking it hurts, to which the Doctor went, "But it really hurts, Rose." The pair of them then look over the city, to which they begin to notice a flying saucer seems to be coming hurtling towards London from the sky. The Doctor watches as the flying saucer crashes into Big Ben, rip Big Ben, and essentially the flying saucer crashes into the Thames and is picked up by the United Nations Force, aka UNIT. The Doctor and Rose storm towards London to see how close they can get to the scene, and the Doctor soon realises that Rose is better off safe at home than sticking around with him for a while. So he manages to use his TARDIS and flies off for a little while. Rose then begins to get doubts, especially after her boyfriend Mickey then begins to gloat about the fact that the Doctor has gone. The Doctor then returns later on in the episode to explain to Rose and Mickey that he has investigated exactly what's going on. It turns out that the aliens who have been infiltrating London have essentially disguised a pig as a mermaid and crashed it into the sea. They have taken an ordinary human pig, they have stuffed it with electrical components, they have made it living and thinking and breathing. And because the pig doesn't know how to live like this, it has been driven crazy. It was then given the spaceship and it had no control over what was happening. The pig was supposed to die in the ship, but instead ended up crashing in the Thames, causing a mass alert of panic, but equally diverting people's attention. It turns out that we later on learn in the episode that a species known as the Slovene have infiltrated Downing Street. They have disguised themselves as multiple politicians in order to get to power. They then bring the Doctor in as a specialist in order to kill him along with all the other unit specialists who have any idea about alien life forms. They do this to try and hide the evidence of exactly what their intentions are on Earth. The Doctor begins to notice what's going on, but he struggles in agony, and then we hit the titles. Aliens of London. What do I think of this episode overall? It's impactful. I remember watching it back in the day and honestly actually going up to London on the weekend just to check that Big Ben was in one piece. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but in context, Big Ben over the years has had a lot of construction work. So a lot of people when I was younger used to joke about the fact that maybe Big Ben was actually hit by the flying saucer. But no, back to all seriousness, yeah, so I absolutely love this story. Why? Because it hits you in the face like an absolute slap. Yes, it's like a Jackie Tyler slap, and you can't miss it. So that's one other thing. I do really like this episode, though. I feel like it's a strong opener to a two-parter, and it really shows its potential, especially for its time back in the early 2000s. This was definitely one of the, if not one of the best moments of the early revival of Doctor Who. And for that reason, I give it a solid 10 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next Doctor Who review, which will be World War III. Until then, goodbye, you beautiful people.